Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start our new unit and first lesson. So we are doing OTHM Level 7 Extended Diploma, Corporate Social Responsibility and Governance, Unit 2, Accounting and Finance course. So today we'll go through our LO1, Learning Outcome 1, Understand laws and practices in national and international context in terms of uh, corporate social responsibility and corporate governance, which we'll go through. So before starting our lesson, we'll a bit recap, and we'll go through the course contents and a bit recap what you learn in other units. Few elements are related which I delivered you before. So unit 2, corporate social responsibility and governance. So it's a level 7 diploma in accounting and finance, mandatory units, 20 credit this unit. So the aim of this unit to allow learner to gain a depth understanding about the corporate social responsibility and corporate governance. So our discussion will be focused on corporate social responsibility and corporate governance. So understand laws and practices in national and international context, which we'll go through today, assessment criteria 1.1, 1.2, and then learning outcome 2, which is all about the nature and the importance of corporate governance and ethical behaviors, which we'll go through. And the third learning outcome, be able to assess the impact of financial reporting. Why reports are important, why is important reports need to be true and fair, on the basis of reports, financial reports, how stakeholders can make the decision, and different stakeholder model we'll discuss as well. We'll go through the principal approaches of governance and risk assessments, and which we'll go through in our LO4. LO5, which will be our last learning outcome, be able to communicate context issues in the corporate social responsibility and governance, which we'll go through during our last learning outcome. So these are all learning outcome which we'll go through. So today, if we look the inductive contents, guys, when you do your assignment, make sure you go through these inductive contents when you do learning outcome 1, assessment criteria 1.1, 1.2, and like others as well, and the different learning outcome. So profession, what is meant by profession, what are the professional values? We'll go through the governance law and practices, purpose of governance law, key governance law, and other regulatory issues, which we'll go through today our lesson. So we'll try to be contextualize our discussion by adding various examples of different companies. These are the recommended books. Those you can use, you can buy, or you can get online these books, electronic version, or you do a bit research, you can find as well. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact me, and we'll start our first session. Today is on about the corporate social responsibility unit 2. Okay, so first learning outcome, understand laws and practices in national and international. So our examples will be focused on national and international perspective. What is by corporate social responsibility? Anybody knows about the corporate social responsibility? Any thought? Okay, there is a belief that the organization should have some social responsibility. What is the definition of organization? Organization is an artificial person, and they have to treat other persons equally. So organization is an artificial person, and they have a social responsibility. There is a social accountability. So let's assume, I'll give you example. We are manufacturing furnitures within the UK, but we're thinking, okay, because it's manufacturing within the UK is quite expensive, but if we'll think now we'll move our manufacturing plant to China, or instead of manufacturing, we'll buy everything from China and we'll sell it. So what will be happen as a society? We'll lose the jobs. So when we're losing the jobs, so when we are moving it, we're not looking only the matter of the cost. We need to look around the social accounting as a society, what we are going to lose. If we carry on buying the things from abroad, we not, promote local industry. So what will be happen? We reach, that's people will lose the job and ultimately will suffer as a whole society. So we need to be look around the social accounting side as well. So organization must account for their actions, whatever the action they will, so what effect will be on the society. The beliefs mean there may be difference between how the world is now and how it should be. So different beliefs, we will discuss maybe different values in different cultures, corporate social responsibilities. So according to the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, WBCSD abbreviation, which is stand for, so please, a formal definition of corporate social responsibility according to the Business Council has been proposed by the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. CSR is a continuous commitment. It's not a commitment once you do and then stop it. So by business to behave ethically, ethically is mean moral value. The way we do the business, so will work in the best interest of wider public, ethical and contribute to the economics development while improving the quality of life of the workers and their family as well as a local community and social and society as a large. So think about, building building school, um, local road, local infrastructure. That's our moral and social responsibility as an organization. So that's why we'll always, is the abbreviation we use when we're doing business in internationally, think globally and act locally in the best interest of the local public. So CSR, that refers to the ideas that a company should be sensitive to the needs and the wants of all stakeholders in its business operation, not just the shareholder. Shareholders mean those are the investor in the business, but we need to be keep in mind the interest of the stakeholders. So what is the definition of the stakeholders? Anybody knows what is the definition of stakeholders? Okay, stakeholders mean anybody who has any interest in the business or by the action of the company, their interest will be influenced, we call the stakeholders. The company are who's influenced by or can influence the decisions and the actions. So example of the stakeholders, shareholders. So if the company will increase or decrease the dividend, or change the dividend policy, their life or the shareholders make the decision. So director is the agent of the shareholders because directors normally select by the shareholder, or is private limited director and the shareholder can be the same person. Other employees, customers, suppliers, government, lenders, community organizations, especially local neighborhood. If we are making noise, we are polluting, we are not caring about, so ultimately their life will be influenced by our actions. Their life will be impacted by our actions. So we need to be look around the interest of all, and we need to be balance everyone interest, to be fulfill our corporate social responsibility as an organization. Okay, so what three areas corporate social responsibility include sustainable development. So corporate financial responsibility. As a corporate, we have a financial responsibility, pay the fair wages, help the local community earn the reasonable profit, and work in the best interest of the customer as well the shareholder. Corporate environmental responsibility. Okay, so it's a huge area. It's becoming a compulsory for the organization to publish a report on the corporate social responsibility. If you pick any company's financial reports and you can read the corporate social responsibility report as an organization, what they are doing for the best interest of the public or for the public. So we need to look around those corporate social responsibility itself. So this will all these come under the corporate responsibility, sustainable development. So as a corporate, we need a financial responsibility, environmental responsibility, and social is a moral responsibility toward the best interest of the society. More on the strategic purposes, why this we are doing is, and the governance, corporate governance. So governance and social governance, how will govern, and social responsibility towards, social responsibility towards society, toward the interest of the society. So corporate governance and the regulatory framework within the organization operate, who are those developing the strategies accountable to. So who is developing the strategies are the accountable in front of the stakeholders. So social responsibility, and after what purposes should an organization fulfill? What expectation does society have an organization? In terms of both what organization is giving back to the community, and also as to how its employees should behave. So that's all come under the corporate social responsibility. Okay, corporate governance, the structure and the system of control by the managers are held accountable to those who have the legitimate stake in an organization. So director can be accountable for shareholder because they're working on the behalf of them. They can be accountable in terms of the customer. So why the corporate governance is an important issue? Increasingly common for the people who manage the business to be different from those who own it. So corporate scandal since late 90s, how much control should be delegated to manager? So like, the few years back, the Barclay Bank CEOs got £2 million worth of bonus, even the Barclay Bank not earn the profit that year. So how we can justify it? So we need a corporate governance where the fair representation from employees, from the community, from independents, so executive, non-executive members, those will be in a committee, those will decide. So those can be accountable if they not make the right decisions, or in the best interest of the variety of the stakeholder, not for the stakeholder, just as a director getting the bonus, but employees not getting it. So that's a huge, increasing needs to be accountable to a wide variety of stakeholders. Increasing need to be accountable to the wide variety of the stakeholders. So we need to be focused. Who do you think should be in charge of how an organization is run and why? So of course we need to be look around. The shareholder have a right to vote in the public limited company. Those are the ordinary shareholders, so they can change the, or then they can delegate power. So the governance chain, who is the control of the organization and how? A small family business size, we look around the stakeholders, board of directors, and governance. But could be problem with the message being lost in or more level there are, and the people being out for their own interests rather than those of organizations. So we need to look around the beneficiaries, large public quoted companies, beneficiary trustees of funds, investment managers, then board, then executive directors, senior executive, and managers. These are all, those control and run the company. Okay, guys, you maybe heard about Enron, which is quite big electric and energy producer in America. The company collapsed in 2001. Enron is one of the world's largest and biggest performing company, collapsed into bankruptcy, stated in 1996. Pipeline provider, and the organization grow substantially by expanding rapidly into the range of utilities. In 15 years, Enron grew from nowhere, America's 17th largest organization, employing 21,000 staff in more than 140 countries. In a high market shares reflect, nature and rapid expansion. However, the result lack of ability to administrate and growing profile and the lack of the cash flow and the capital sustain. But the firm's success turned out have involved elaborate scheme. So just a manipulating figure, giving the false figures, creative accounting techniques were used to hide the Enron losses. Creative accounting techniques. So where they put the more credit sale, they understate the expenses, they overstate the profit. So they transfer from different period to different period. They not follow the accrual and matching concept properly. So Enron laid about the profit and was excused range of shady dealings, including concealing debt. So they didn't show up in the company's account. An aggressive performance culture and high bonus put the pressure on the managers to hide the poor result over the report's success. So Enron collapse also result in the collapse of the author Anderson and respected financial accountant firm that was found to be complicit in the scandal. So Enron collapsed, and that audit firm that's collapsed is a happen. So that's a huge, that's change the shape and the world as well. The Enron collapse scandal in a small group can be we can do in a class-based environment. So you can ask the question: how does the Enron scandal link to the corporate governance? What went wrong in the Enron? Who was the blame, who to be blamed, and why were the issues hidden in the so long, and the mechanism should have been used to stop the fraud. So these are the frauds, the Enron, which is happened. They use the creative accounting techniques. So board of director in the UK have four principal role: accountability, supervision, that's come under the corporate governance, directions and executive action, rest of the strategic management. So we need to be follow this, and we need to be fine to be run the corporate. Okay, then there are the number of corporate reform and the reports being developed is a principal action rule based approaches, two tiers, two principles, so various approaches in different countries. Sermons Oxley acts as a tightening accounting standards, increase auditor independencies from management. So that's increase auditor independent. When the auditor, as we already learn in other unit, corporate social responsibility, we learn about the professional code of ethics. Like I quoted you example in other units. So to remember the professional code of ethics, we need to be follow PPCIO, which is stand for Popular People Chat in Offices. So P stand for professional behavior. So always in a business we're supposed to be keep professional behavior. Second P is called professional competencies and due care. It means we need to be up to date knowledge. If we don't have up to date knowledge, we can be out of the business. Confidentiality, we should keep the information confidential. Integrity, it means we should be honest with the clients. And objectivity, we not supposed to be compromise our objective as a editor. So these are the professional code of ethics we should follow, which they not being followed by the editor. So a lot of the new standards arrives and launched by the International Audit Standard Board. So over the regulation can and we kill the entrepreneurial spirit. It will crash in innovation as more the resources are shifted towards the compliance and away from the staying ahead from pack. So we need to look around this. We need a balanced approach. So different governance structure, it can be shareholder model or the stakeholder model. So disadvantage of this approach and advantages of, so we can compare and contrast of these two models. So these two models we can use, investor, the economy, the short term, and the reputation, top management. Advantage of this approach for investor, to the economies and management. Stakeholders, so we're not looking the interest. Shareholders mean those are investors, and the stakeholders mean anybody who has any interest in the business. Like, so many people have an interest in the business, those are called stakeholders. So advantages of this approach include the stakeholder, investor, and long-term horizon. So we're not focusing on the short term, we're looking the long term. How the governance body influence the strategies. An organization could either entirely delegate the development of strategic management plan to the managers and just sign off in the final plan, where more closely manages in the developing strategic plans. Regardless of the approach of the organization need to ensure the board operate independently of management. Board to do scrutinize that the management is doing and the director have a time to do the jobs properly. Okay, guys, anybody any questions? So please ask me or drop me email if you're just listening this recording. So business ethics and corporate social responsibility. Business ethics operate two levels. Micro levels is the role of the business in the society. Individual level, the behavior of the people within the organization. So CSR, corporate social responsibility, look at the way in which the organization go beyond the minimum social responsibility. Okay, compare contractual and the community stakeholders, and we looking, guys, in the next lesson. I wish you go through. These are all the corporate governance reports, Cadbury committee reports about the Greenberry committee report, Hempel and Turnbull report. So which will further go through in the further lesson. So please, if until the next lesson, if you look around the Cadbury report, which when you write your assignment, so these reports we can include in our discussion as well. Today I mentioned you sermons, actually act, which is also is reports being set up. So please you. So when we're looking in a business and organization don't exist, in isolation. So it doesn't exist to the simply make money. Implies depends on business, customer, suppliers, and the various other stakeholders. CSR is about understanding this impact and taking responsible attitudes toward the welfare of the stakeholders. So CSR benefit. So we need to look around the good corporate reputation implies stay longer, reducing the recruitment costs. Employees are betterly motivated, help to generate the positive press coverage, and can help to develop the new product and the services. Can help you to stand out for the competitor. In the UK recently, Uncle Ben is making the tin food, the rice, and they recently said few foods, they advertise few foods can be harm if you're using more than the certain limit. The reason is it's very difficult for the company to say you don't buy it, don't use this product more than certain limit. The reason is because they perform is ethically is known as, and they have a corporate responsibility to the work in the best interest of the public. So they load some low sugary product as well. So just as a message, think about CSR in practice. What doing ASDA? So what do you think ASDA does as a part of the corporate social responsibility policy? So as a ASDA corporate social responsibility, would it surprise you to know corporate reputation, financial stability, profitability is the main purpose. Will provide the fair chance to everyone progress in life. Product and the services will provide that will satisfy the customer. It's environmental, those are recycling and environmental responsibility will treatment of staff fairly and equally. So as the charity they set up, to work and help the needy people. So in 2010 raised over 8 million for the charity, is a bit old figures, but so far in charity raised further and always increasing. They are regular doing the collections and special product, to helping the needy people. So we need to look around as a sustainable as the environmental awareness, reduce CO2, sustainable products, sporting producer, supply, like the Yorkshire meat from the Yorkshire meat producer. So we can helping local communities, sporting producer, supply chain, transport, manufacturing, and supplies reduce waste. So waste reducing. Okay, ASDA and community. ASDA Foundation start in 1988. So far raised, 1.9 million to the community program. Encourage employees to be fundraising, support a range of community projects. So CSR, whose benefit? How do you think ASDA benefit from the corporate social responsibility? When ASDA will be treated, its organization definition is artificial person. They have a moral, social, ethical responsibility to work in the best interest of the customer, to provide the, how do you think that customer benefit? Yes, when they are producing the thing, they're not focusing just on the profit, they're looking the, that's why as the launch, as the best price, as the best in, and as the different, the brand to be help the community to be make and fulfill the demand. They are sponsoring the now food bank scheme as well for the needy people. So that's all also come under the corporate social responsibility. So guys, you couple of you maybe learn this model is called balance scorecard. As an organization, we don't need to be look around just in the financial perspective. We need to be balanced. We need to look around the financial perspective, profit and implied and shares and return on investment. Customer perspective, we need to fulfill the customer needs and wants. As a marketer is our responsibility. Internal perspective, report on the internal efficiencies of the business. Innovation perspective, we need to be look around and invest money on the innovation and the new product. Like recently, self-scanning machines is introduced by the ASDA. So when it means you don't need to go until you carry on scanning it, and that save your time, and that's more innovation for the sustainable. If our competitor are doing and we're not doing, we can be out of the business. Then is a triple bottom line concept. It means we need to be focused on people, planet, and profit. We need to be balanced all. So all this approach under the, okay. So then when we look in the corporate governance and social responsibility, we need to look around principal interest. Principal is mean the shareholders are the owner of the business, those called principal. Director are the agent of the shareholder. They're working on the behalf of the shareholder. They are accountable to shareholders. Then task managing the company, and thus agency relationship theory we need to be focused. Then there are the lot of models which is on the CSR. So Carl drive the four part of CSR: economic responsibilities, legal responsibility, ethical responsibility, philosophical responsibility, where we need to look around economic shareholder demand, the reasonable return implies want a safe and fair trade, and the customer demand high quality. So legal is the law based, we need operating with the society, we need to be accept those values. Ethical responsibility relate to doing what is the right and wrong, just fair, and the action taken and the area provided of the social legitimacy which we need to look around. So the philosophical related to discretionary behaviors to improve the lives of other, charitable activity, donation, that's come under the topic responsibility as an organization. Then the Milton Friedman gave the model which is on the CSR is looking, a corporation is artificial person. They have to treat and the human values and interest, which further we'll go through in the next lesson. These more in detail. We're looking the self-interest. We're looking the society as the whole. So today lesson we just learn about. So today lesson we just focus on what is difference between corporate social responsibilities and the values. These are, please guys. So up to the next lesson, if you will go through and do a bit research about these three reports, Cadbury report. So when Cadbury Kabeti, so if you type, I'll quick, show you how you can do best research. All these, if you type their Google search and say Cadbury, I'll show you quick. So that's really help you. So when you do Cadbury report, let's say report on corporate governance. Yes, Kaplan. So just type, Kaplan. So Kaplan. So that's, it's come the lot of discussion on Kaplan's, and you will see their Cadbury committee. So these are all the reports. So please, when you look there, Cadbury committee reports, so click there and we need to look around the Cadbury report set by the Financial Reporting Council, the London Stock Exchange accounting profession. Objective of this committee to help the raise the standard of the governance and the level of confidence in the financial reporting, auditing by setting clearly responsibility and involve, and the Code of Practice in 1992, and what is recommended, it is desirable to separate the role of the chief executive and the chairman. The board includes the sufficient non-executive members. Their views carried significant weight, and the audit committee should be appointed by the review financial statement before the submission of full board and remuneration committee to decide, what remunerations will be executive and director, because they are on, they can set the salary whatever they want, but the non-executive committee, they are responsible to set, for them. So these all sort of, things is being discussed. In 19 combined codes being set up for the UK stock, and then Turnbull reports came, and then Higgins reports, Smith reports. So please guys, if you just a bit go through until next lesson, all is about to create more transparency, more fairness, more effectiveness of our corporate governance. So when we'll govern effectively, to increase the credibility and the reputation of the companies. So that's, because a lot of trust of the customers is broke, the investor on the company, due to all these scandals. You maybe heard about recently a bankruptcy of the Carillion companies, and 590 million worth of the pension fund. Is a poor governance. Why this reach, implies you're going to lose the money. Why the companies reach at the point. So a lot of people suffering because due to the people being redundant, salary last month, and the pension fund being misused. So it's all corporate social and the governance issue is in the corporate world. So those we need to be look around, and we need to embed those examples within assignment as well. So which I'll go through. These are the locally within the UK and internationally, and these, different rule and different governance standard we should follow. So anybody, any question if you have, please do not hesitate to contact me and drop me email on this my email address. Say hope so I will speak you all, because those are listening this presentation. So please make sure you carry on, start your writing assignment this week, LO1, learning outcome 1, and we'll carry on moving forward. And if you carry on doing typing your work, send me and I'll get back to you and carry on giving you some feedback so we can improve at the end, and we can submit and we can finish our assignments on time. So hope so I will speak you all next week, same time. Please try to attend lesson and have a wonderful weekend. If it's just, different timing. So hope so I'll speak you some point. Have a nice time. Bye bye.